to this video. On this video I'm going to be asking the question, I'm going to be trying to answer it actually, of whether rock music will die with us. What do we mean by rock music? We mean by the stuff that I grew up loving, the music of my youth, and really I'm thinking about heavy metal as well. You know, not just straight rock music, more heavy metal. And who's us? Well, it's a bit presumptive, that is, because it assumes that most people watching this channel are around about my age, i.e. old. We all love the rock. We're still buying albums and CDs and listening to it and going to gigs. But when we're gone, will rock music continue? Does it have enough staying power? Was it music of the time that we come up in, and now all this computerized stuff that everyone listens to, and Spotify and all this stuff that we go on about, perhaps that's replaced it, and the next generation will want that. And I want to sort of track why that has happened as well. Now, you might have noticed that I'm actually not in my studio, and this is not a green screen. This is the actual real world. I'm out just outside a little village called Kinver, which is quite close to me. And of course, I live in the West Midlands in the United Kingdom. Up the road in Birmingham, Black Sabbath invented heavy metal, and we have a whole ton of rock legends, note the word legends, living in this neck of the woods. Rock music's in our blood, it's in our genes in this neck of the woods. Now, I'm actually walking up to a very, very strange place, because rock is so ingrained in my sort of cultural heritage that in recent memory, well, I say probably 100 years ago, people lived in houses carved out of rock. Yes, like the Flintstones. And I'm actually walking up to such a house now. Now, this house that will be soon, I'll be able to show you, was when I was a kid, was just an empty old house of rock. It was just, all you had was the rooms that were carved out into the rock. But since then, it has become a sort of cultural monument, hasn't it? So they've done it all up, and now they charge to, that's it basically there, they charge to let you in to have a look. But what I've done, because I've got a pokey stick, I will just show you a little bit of it. It's quite an incredible thing. To you it probably just looks like a house, but that house is actually built into the rock. Now, I'm now taking, let's check you're working right. So we'll leave the rock house where it is. I'm now taking this pathway up to an ancient hill fort that existed on the top of this. Where do we start? Well, I'm going to start with me. I got into rock music in 1980. It was because of the new wave of British heavy metal, which I loved. I started playing the drums because I loved heavy metal. I never joined any of the local bands, and there was a ton of local bands in this town because it was a bit of a music town. I didn't, because they were all into the Clash and the Ramones. I didn't like those bands, but I'd go out and see the gigs. By the time I was 14, 15, we'd sneak out. I'm going to have a sit on this, because this is steep. I'm going to have a sit on this little chair. Oh, it's early at the moment. It's fresh. There's no leaves on the trees. I'm filming this in early March. But the birds, listen. Incredible. And all this is eternal, isn't it? It was that idea that inspired me to do this video this morning. I looked out the window and I saw the trees, leafless, perfect blue sky, as you can see, perfect blue sky. And I thought, my God, this is all eternal. If it's moving at such a slow pace that I can't perceive it. It's just a blip. And so when I look back at my life, it's highly likely that my life is a blip in the grand scheme of things. And the things I loved and the things that meant something to me, that's a blip. my family, my kids, my parents, and the music is just a blip. It'll be gone. Nobody will know who the Scorpions were. Will any of it survive? Well, I can go back a few thousand years and I can walk up to the remnants of a hill fort. That's still here. And go, there was a hill fort here. We could think about what that is, or we could look at the rock houses and think, oh my God, at some point people used to live inside, you know, caves. Like in recent times, that's still there, and people have come along and they've preserved it. That house, it looks like someone's living there, but it's not. It's preserved, so you can go, and you have to spend money now to go and look around someone's house that at one point would have been seen as a sort of lowly person's house. It's quite fascinating, this is. Now, you're here not to hear all of this, but the thing is that I like to pick up concepts like this. I like to pick up a couple of concepts and throw them all in. So let's work with this idea of the eternal, because that's a much more profound title to have for this video. Is rock music eternal? Or will it be so long-lived that it's not quite eternal, but eternal for us as human beings with our limited lifespan? Does it go beyond us? I think that's the real question. You want things to go beyond yourself, don't you? You don't want to believe in things if they're not going to survive, if they're worthless. It's because the worth is in how long it lasts. Is that really the case, or is the worth just that moment back in 1980 when I discovered heavy metal, and that was the moment? Is the moment more important? So let's go back to 1980. Well, I'd say 1984. I'm about 16, and I'd pop down to see the local gigs, and these gigs would be pretty dodgy affairs put on by dodgy people. Lots of drugs, lots of drink, lots of underage types milling around with overage types, and watching bands that were really just making lots of noise. People would spit at you, they would fight. They were very violent gigs back in the old days. They always ended up in a ruck, as we'd say. It really was the domain of youth. The parents didn't know anything about it. They wouldn't even have known the band's names, none of them, whether it's the Clash or the Ramones. These were just kids making music for other kids. But it was very profound, and we sort of we bought into it, didn't we? If I fast forward to a few decades, now I'm an elder musician and I've done stuff and I work as a musician, and I would often be brought in to help kids, teach them. Well, none of that existed. There was no teaching music in my day. You put the records on and you worked it out. And most people didn't even bother working it out. They just got a few chords. Once they got a few chords, they felt like they were ready to go. The whole thing's different. So I would work with these youngsters, and they'd come in, and maybe they come from sort of a bit of a middle class background usually, and the kid's not that bright, so the parents are going, oh, we've got to get them into something, so maybe they played the guitar. So they bought them a brand new Les Paul Marshall amp, and they have inflicted their record collection on these kids. These kids have been grown up, you know, listening to Guns N' Roses, unlike all their mates at school who are listening to a drill or whatever it would be nowadays. And these kids would turn up and they would play their Guns N' Roses song. Never an attempt to write anything original. Or maybe Paranoid. Or maybe a couple of Metallica songs. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Or Creep by Radiohead. All the genres mixed together. Because to these kids, it's just rock. And they would, oh, it's beautiful. We'd put on a gig. And you go to some venue. The kids would all be ID'd. They're all on squash. They're getting up on stage, playing their Guns N' Roses song. All their parents are stood at the back of the stage or side, all proud, clapping their kids as they come on. But they come up and say, is that any good? I go, yeah, it's really good. And I'd have a chat with the parents about UFO or Michael Schenker. He was amazing, wasn't he? Yeah, we went a bit off the rails. And we're having a conversation about it all, you know, sort of thing we do here. Seat over here, let's have a sit down. Oh, if I am going to have a heart attack. What a way to go. On video, talking to my lovely viewers in this lovely English early spring surrounding. I need the cardiovascular, don't I? That's what I need. We need to do more of these walking and talking videos. I need to get myself a bit fitter. So I'm getting old, aren't I? I mean, I don't want to peg it now, do I? That wouldn't be any good. Because once we're all gone, what will happen to the rock? Who will keep it going? This bloke coming along with his dog now. But he looks around about the same age as me, but he's just marching up this bloke here. He's just marching up my... Easy, yeah. How old are you?
62.
Oh, he's older than me. That's terrible. I've had to have a sit down.
Have a good day, mate.
And you. So, see, people, they know you're YouTubing now. They all get it. Everyone gets it. It's a weird world, isn't it? It's a weird world. Shall we travel up to the top of Kinver? It's called Kinver Edge. Although it's not like an edge, it's actually a top. But we'll go up to the top of Kinver Edge and have a look around because we'll be. Oh, there's some other people coming along. Let's keep walking. I think I've got my breath back. Morning.
Morning.
So we'll carry her up there. So I'm having to go up steps. So there's a change, isn't it? And the reason why those rock houses I showed you are interested, because people lived in those. They're an actual thing. When I was a kid, they were just empty, and kids just went up there, smoked dope in the caves, and wrote on the walls. I remember kids doing that. And then the National Trust got hold of it, and now it's all been puffed up. So, is that what's going to happen with the rock music? Is it going to end up in the museum? Well, we're creating those museums, aren't we? You know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, what's that if not a museum of rock? Here's something I want to posit. Recently, I did a session in my studio, and it was a real incredible experience. Brian Tatler turned up, a legend of that era, the guitarist with Diamond Head, currently playing with Saxon, and you can't get more new wave of British heavy metal than Saxon. And then I had a younger man come up who loves the rock, a YouTuber, Danny Sapko, and we went into my studio and we played a whole bunch of old rock songs, not even the whole songs, just the few riffs and a verse and a chorus, and everyone's gone nuts over it. I'll show you a bit now. So I'm on top of the old hill fort now. This is apparently where there was an old hill fort, we got one of those things there where you can work out where you are, you know, one of those ordnance survey things. And you just watched me and Danny Sapko and Brian Tatler playing a bit of Black Sabbath, Symptom of the Universe. Now, what does the universe actually look like? It looks like these. Look at that. What do you think of that? That is the village of Kinver. And all sorts of rock and roll goings on happened in that town. I'm not going to tell you, but I know what they are, being a local. Incredible. It's absolutely beautiful, this is. I'm going to have a walk round and then I'm going to head back down. So, will rock music die and be gone? Or will it become a museum piece? Or will it survive eternal forever because there's something wonderful about it? Now, I don't know the answer to this one. But I can tell you another story that might illuminate a little bit of this subject. A few years back I was involved in the erection, sorry to use that word so early in the morning, of the John Bonham monument over in Redditch. And I can remember having a conversation about this with Robert Plant, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin at the time. And he wanted to ensure that it was a cool sculpture for John. Now, I have to tread even more carefully with this story because there is a sculptor of rock stars by the name of Andy Edwards. So we crossed paths. He did the lovely, incredible, I think it's a brilliant statue of Lemmy up in Stoke-on-Trent, and he also did the Beatles one. Brilliant work. Sometimes these statues, they don't look quite right, and it looks a little bit like, you know, Han Solo when he gets stuck in carbonite. You know how he looks, and you see some statue to Frank Zappa or Rory Gallagher, and you look at it and go, oh, that's not quite right. Now, the point Robert made, he said, what he's worried about is in years' time, right? Years' time, 100 years, 200 years, there'll be a sculpture in the town. And people will walk up to it and they'll look at it and go, who the hell's this? Who the hell is this? And they won't know what it is. So the sculpture will have to stand on its own. It'll have to represent something under its own steam. And I was like, not John Bonham. Surely everyone's going to know about John Bonham for the rest of time. But then I thought about certain sculptures. Now, of course, in the United Kingdom, we had the Colston statue down in Bristol. Now, when I was younger and I was doing much bigger gigs, I would sometimes play Colston Hall in Bristol, which was named after him. And he got this big statue. But the time of BLM, it was people started to make the point that this bloke did own slaves. And so the British public went down and they pulled that down using their democratic right and freedom of expression. They pulled that down and chucked it in the sea. It was a bit like the Boston Tea Party in reverse. I'm lost now, by the way. How do I get down from here? I came down some steps, didn't I? I've taken the wrong path. Well, be all right, won't it? I'm sure I can get down to there somehow. Oh, look at that log. It's a great big log over here. I'm sure I've gone the wrong way, you know. Oh, does it matter? It doesn't matter, does it, when you get lost? I mean, I'm completely lost in the conversation. I have no idea what the sort of conclusion will be. I'm trying to work towards one in front of your very eyes. I'm actually enjoying it as well. I'm trying to dip into the landscape and then dip back into the conversation. I don't know whether that's entertaining for you, but that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm trying to let this landscape, I'm trying to let the eternal seep into my brief existence on this planet talking to you. That's the real profound bit of this. I'm going to have to go down this bit here. I'm going to have to, because I need to make my way down. I might slip over at some point, everybody. It's still pretty though, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go cross country. I've been watching some of these YouTubes of people who go like They find a map on Google Earth, they get Google Earth and they find something on there that they don't know what it is. Then they go and find it and they have to go up caves and drink their own urine, you know, and sleep in bloody a carcass of an old buffalo or something like that, you know, that type of thing. And here's me having to walk down a slight incline, feeling like I'm doing exactly the same thing, risking life and limb. Here I am, look. You know, one mistake here and I might slip down and get a muddy arse. Look, and you can see the technique I'm using. I've got the camera out here and then the hand out here. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to traverse a log at everybody. Yeah. Whoa, can I do? Oh, I don't know whether I can. He's over it. He's over it. Old man Edwards is over it. Keep going down the path. To watch yourself. Watch yourself. There's no safety net here. Oh, some people had advised me against this trip, but well, nobody had actually. All I had was my kids saying, "Dad, don't die of a heart attack," because they're worried about me. Oh, I'm so close to the path, but it's getting steeper. Can you see? Look at that! Ah, log just. Oh my God! I'm gonna fall. I'm gonna have to run it. Ah, that went pretty smoothly, didn't it? I was graceful, wasn't I? This video's rubbish. I'm not really talking about it. It's because the landscape's too overwhelming. That's what it is. Too pretty. I just want to revel in it. The old cardiovascular is starting to feel a little bit better now, to be honest. I'm starting to get into it. We need to do this once a week, don't we? I can show you the local sort of rustic environments and we could have a chat, a relaxed chat where you might not necessarily talk about the subject in hand. Is it really that compelling? Who gives a toss? When I'm dead, does it matter? You know, what a bunch of young people are listening to. You know, will it really matter? Shall I cut to the chase? I don't know the answer here. The logical part in my brain says, I'm going to turn it around so you can see the path I'm going on. That might be of interest to you. The logical part of my brain says it won't last. It's a fad. A bit like silent film or romantic poetry. You know, these things that were like really important to everybody and are now just there, but they are sort of there. So there's going to be, historians are going to, I suppose, they're going to seek what the value is there. My worry is that the value they seek will be in what the critics thought were good. And all those cruddy bands that I never wanted to join when I was a kid, like the Ramones and the Clash, become the ones that everybody is saying is the sort of cultural peak of that era. And that would be bad, I'm telling you. It will be bad. Because I promise you, in 300 years' time, when somebody sits down and listens to the first Ramones album, they won't get it. But if they listen to Dark Side of the Moon or Close to the Edge, that music is a different beast. So I'm here trying to make all these videos. And what am I arguing for? I am arguing for the eternal, aren't I? That's the whole point. I'm arguing for the eternal. What is eternal about rock music? It's human expression, isn't it? And why was rock music so incredible in terms of human expression? That's the real question we need to answer. Well, I'm going to do so. The reason I showed you that Danny Sapko, Brian Tatler video is because there was such an overwhelming response. Now, everyone's heard those songs a million times, haven't they? But we did something that nobody does anymore, and it was this. We didn't rehearse. Well, we didn't rehearse at all, actually. We turned up, we were enjoying ourselves. We set up in a room together, facing each other, and I turned it up unbelievably loud. Brian's guitar was routed through to my PA in the room, and I whacked it up. It was coming from everywhere. And when he started playing his riffs, the combination of him being one of the great riff meisters of all time, you know, he wrote the riffs and played the riffs that launched thrash metal, Metallica, Anthrax, a lot of them. That's what the guy did. So when he played, his expression and his sort of view of what he wants to get across, and there was one point where he described, you know, what is great about rock, and he said it was about being bludgeoned into submission. Bludgeoned into submission. You know, and it is, because it's visceral. Rock music's visceral, and in being visceral, it's almost, how can we describe it? It's almost like Zen meditation. I haven't got a clue where I am. Where the hell am I? How do I get back to the car? I can't be where I think I am. I don't even know where I think I am. I am lost. Everybody, I'm properly lost. I haven't got a clue I don't know how to get back to the car. Right? There's a big, hang on, let's try and go through here. There's a pathway through here. Let's see what happens if we go through here. I've never been down this bit before, but I'm lost. I don't like being lost, you see. I'm quite an anxious person, and being untethered frightens me. I don't want to let go. Maybe that's why I don't want to let go of the rock. I don't want to let go of what was mine when I was young. I want to hold on to it, but I can feel it's going, and that's frightening. But what Brian's describing, the being bludgeoned into submission, that's almost like switching off the higher centres, isn't it? It's switching off the higher centres and surrendering yourself to something which is truly visceral. That's what rock does. And when rock was created, it was created out of new technology. And we could define that as electricity. Captain Beefheart's incredible tune that came out around about 1967, 68, Electricity, sums it up. It's about electricity. And electricity is vital, and it's the thing that's in our bones. It's the thing that brings Frankenstein back to life. And you think of Edgar Winter, that heavy riffing on Frankenstein. I'm sure I'm walking into somebody's garden here. That bloke lives here, doesn't he? I don't know where I am. I'll just keep walking. We're in a posh bit at the moment. This is like, you know, when people say that the Shire in Lord of the Rings was based upon where I live, it bloody was, I tell you. But you've got to have a lot of cash to live in this bit, I'll tell you that now. Cash, that's the thing that stops you being anxious. But that's another discussion for another day. I was onto something, wasn't I? And it wasn't what I expected. Electricity, visceral energy. And when rock came together, which I think really starts with Jimi Hendrix, because Jimi Hendrix was like he's made out of electricity, wasn't he? And when he sang Purple Haze, hello. That dog was trying to be hard, but did you see him? He didn't look hard. He was a poodle. Poodles never look hard. Purple Haze all in my brain. Maybe things don't seem the same. Acting funny and I don't know why. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. He's obviously talking about some sort of chemically induced new place. But in that, it's submission. It is submission to the eternal, isn't it? That's what heavy metal was. And it was a communal submission to the eternal. That's what it was. And so it only really works when the electricity is real. It only really works when people are there, and despite what they believe and think, they suddenly get brought together by the riff. And this isn't about being happy or sad. It's not about being angry or not angry. It's about submission. It's like Western, European and American Zen. It has all the chaos of the Western liberal democracies, but it also has this non-thinking, mindless thing, which I think is its power. And I think when you hear it, it's like You think it's about anger, but it's not. It's about not giving it a toss, because it reminds you at that moment. Now do we have that in modern popular music? All these blips and blops coming out of machines, all the auto-tuned vocals. No, that's much more about perfection. Modern popular music is about capitalism. It's about the thing that the internet has been able to expand on a huge level, which is the idea of selling. It's all about selling. The whole lot, all those sort of highly left-wing types talking. Oh, bloody hell, where am I? I haven't got a clue where I am. It's pretty though, isn't it? I'll give you that view. I'm miles from the car, and I don't even know if I'm walking in the right way. I don't even know where I am. Totally lost. I don't like this feeling. You see, this is the thing about doing YouTubing. Is if I was just doing this walk now, I'd be pretending to enjoy it. The moral side of me would be pretending to enjoy it, but underlying it, I'd be slightly anxious and not able to just submit to it. You know, when you're not going to die, it's not like you're lost in the Sahara Desert. You just got to keep walking, and that's good for you. You need to walk. It might even extend your life, but that may not be in control. I don't like it. Don't like it. And heavy metal's the opposite of that. So when I hear it, it's like an injection of who gives a shit. That's what it is. And at some point, people started giving a shit. I watched the interview with Kevin Shirley that Rick Beato did last night. I don't know whether this influenced my thinking. So he's there, 65-year-old bloke. He's produced Led Zeppelin. He's produced Iron Maiden. You know, he is the rock producer. And he's talking about all this, like, play real guitars, play this, play that, you know, don't let the computers, I don't really know how all the gear works, I just get in there and get the vibe, blah, blah, blah. He's saying all that. Bob Clearmountain's my hero, all that type of stuff. And yet, he was also talking about the fact that he made his name by doing this Silverchair album out in Australia, where he got them to play, and yeah, they were playing in the room together, but then he would go, that's a great drum fill. And he would like cut that one out on tape and stick it on the wall, and then they would plot together the sort of platonic idea of a rock drum beat, right? Because they didn't have the guts to leave in the shite. In the car at the moment, I'm listening to the best of Aerosmith, and Aerosmith have two sides to them. They have the 70s gutsy proper rock and roll. When you hear them, you could feel like you're going right back to the gut butt blues of the 1920s and 1930s. It's in there. And then in the 80s, they team up with incredible songwriters and start to create these incredibly polished songs, which I also really like, because I like the songwriting. And I think by the 1980s, Steven Tyler had become one of the greatest singers, pop singers on the planet, able to deliver a vocal which was sweet and told a story, and yet still evoked the blues. The blues has got a lot to do with this. There's no blues in modern music. So these are the eternal things that we need to safeguard. These are the things that if we're going to wrap up into the museum, that's what we have to do. And pointing to it isn't good enough. No, we have to do it. So my message to everybody who loves the rock is stop trying to play it well. Get in the room together. Stop trying to have the platonic bass drum sound and the platonic guitar sound, and try and capture that lightning in a bottle. In other words, try and capture the electricity, the life force. Try and capture that. I just found some people and they told me which way to go. So now I know where I am. And it's not as fun now. It was exciting before, wasn't it? Now I know where I'm going. I know how long I've got to walk. It's all a bit boring. Because what makes us scared also makes us exciting. Or excited. And often the thing you need to do with anxiety is just turn around the story that you've attached to it. So rather than you seeing it as being frightening, you see it as exciting. A little bit like going on a roller coaster ride or a ghost train. And I think that exists in rock music. I think there's a visceral aspect to it. So, will rock music die with us? As you can see, you know, I've stuck this little last bit onto the video because I didn't feel like I'd answered the question and people might go away. So it was quite enjoyable seeing the English countryside with Andy. But did he answer the question? Mostly yes, it will die. A lot of the detail will die. The really profound stuff that will survive not because of its perfection, not because it was such a brilliant example of the genius of these people, but the genius will be respected. So what's the answer? Mostly yes, like most things. It will die with us. There'll be something that the future population can't quite grasp at, like us looking inside the pyramids and going, why? And that might well be the case with rock music. But something will survive, something will be eternal. I believe it's the case. And it will be the human aspects of it, the life force that is embodied in rock music. Rock music utilises electricity in the same way as Mary Shelley did in Frankenstein, and that will be eternal. Like Frankenstein himself, it will represent something. And of course, Frankenstein represents the folly of man's trust in the material and the denial of the aspects that make us human. And maybe Symptom of the Universe does the same thing, and that's why it will survive. So yes, some of it will, I hope. Anyway, that's my opinion, and with that we will finish this video finally. Thank you.